Humans had always looked up at the stars and dreamed. For centuries, they built better telescopes, sent probes into space, and finally ventured beyond their own planet. By the year 2157, Earth had established colonies on Mars and Europa, and made contact with 17 alien civilizations. But in the grand scheme of the galaxy, humans were newcomers. Many alien species had been traversing the stars for thousands of years. They had mastered technologies that seemed like magic to human scientists. They traveled between star systems in days rather than years. They manipulated gravity and energy in ways Earth's brightest minds could barely comprehend. Dr. Alan Foster stood at the window of his lunar laboratory, staring at the blue-green orb of Earth. For 10 years, he had led a team researching dimensional physics. While most scientists worked with 3 spatial dimensions and 1 time dimension, Alan believed there were at least 7 dimensions that could be accessed with the right technology. "They're ready for you in the conference room," said a voice behind him. Alan turned to see his colleague, Dr. Samantha Wells. Her expression was grim. "The transmission from the Interstellar Summit just came in," she said. "You should see it." Alan nodded and followed her through the sterile white corridors of Lunar Base Alpha. Inside the conference room, 5 other scientists waited around a table. Nobody spoke as Samantha activated the holographic display. The image showed a grand hall filled with representatives from dozens of alien species. At the center podium stood Ambassador Zixforn of the Axillary, the current leader of the Galactic Council. His blue-scaled skin glistened under the lights as he addressed the assembly. "And now we address the latest human proposal," said Zixforn, his translator converting his clicking speech into English. "Their scientists claim they have developed a theoretical framework for accessing what they call the 7th dimension." Laughter rippled through the assembly. Alan's fists clenched as he watched. "The humans believe this will revolutionize space travel," continued Zixforn, his mouthparts forming what passed for a smile among his kind. "Perhaps in another 1,000 years, they might catch up to where the rest of us were millennia ago." More laughter, louder this time. Some delegates were practically falling out of their seats. "Their delegate has requested funding and technology sharing for this project," said Zixforn. "The Council has unanimously decided to deny this request. Humans are simply not ready for such advanced concepts." The transmission ended, and silence filled the conference room. Ellen looked around at his team, seeing anger and humiliation on every face. 10 years of work," said Dr. Kate Miller, the team's quantum engineer, "dismissed without even reviewing our research." "They didn't even look at the math," added Dr. Luis Rodriguez. "Our calculations are solid." Ellen took a deep breath. "This changes nothing. We continue our work." "With what funding?" asked Kate. The UN Space Agency was counting on Council support. Before Alan could answer, his phone beeped. He glanced at the screen and raised his eyebrows in surprise. "It's from General Claire Winters," he said. "She wants to meet immediately." 3 hours later, Alan and Samantha sat in a secure meeting room with General Winters and Admiral Ben Harris of Earth Defense Force. "We saw the Council's response," said General Winters without preamble. "Frankly, we're tired of being treated like children by these advanced species." "Your research now has full military backing," said Admiral Harris. "We're building your ship, Dr. Foster." Alan blinked in surprise. "But the resources required are being allocated as we speak," interrupted Winters. "We've selected Captain Olivia Dawson to lead the mission." A hologram appeared showing a woman in her 40s with short brown hair and determined eyes. Her service record appeared alongside her image. "She's one of our best," said Harris. "Construction of the vessel has already begun in the hidden facilities beneath Mare Tranquillitatis." "What's the ship's name?" asked Samantha. General Winters smiled. "Pathfinder. And when it works, the Galactic Council won't be laughing anymore." Dr. Nathan Price wiped sweat from his forehead as he stared at the massive engine taking shape before him. The engineering bay of Mare Tranquillitatis was a hive of activity, filled with Earth's brightest minds working day and night. "We've never built anything like this before," Nathan said to Dr. Samantha Wells as she entered the bay. "I'm still not convinced the materials will hold under these stresses." Samantha handed him a tablet showing her latest calculations. "They will. The quantum foam stabilizers I designed will create a buffer around the dimensional drive." For 6 months, the Pathfinder project had progressed in complete secrecy. After the humiliation at the Galactic Council, Earth's united governments had poured resources into proving humanity's worth. The lunar facility had tripled in size, with new sections built deep underground to avoid detection from alien satellites. "Have you talked to Alan today?" Nathan asked, scrolling through Samantha's data. "He's with Captain Dawson, reviewing crew selections," she replied. "Final decisions need to be made by Friday." In another section of the base, Dr. Alan Foster and Captain Olivia Dawson sat reviewing personnel files. The wall screens displayed profiles of potential crew members, each with extensive qualifications. "We need the best of the best," said Olivia, "but they also need to be emotionally stable. This mission will test everyone's mental limits." Alan nodded. "Especially when we cross the dimensional threshold. We don't know exactly what that will do to human consciousness. Which is why I want Dr. Ryan Cooper as our medical officer," said Olivia, pulling up his file. "His background in neuroscience and psychology makes him perfect." Colonel Jack Hudson entered the room, his face grave. "We've got a problem. Our intelligence suggests alien monitoring systems have detected unusual energy signatures from our tests." Alan frowned. "How is that possible?" "We've been careful to contain all dimensional bleed." "Not careful enough," said Jack. "The Axillary Ambassador has requested an inspection of this facility." "We can't let them see what we're building," said Olivia. "We won't," assured Jack. "We're moving up the timetable. The Pathfinder needs to be ready for its first test flight in 2 weeks." Across the facility, the selected crew began intensive training. Lieutenant Emma Rodriguez practiced in the flight simulator, mastering the theoretical controls of a ship that could move in ways no human vessel ever had before. "Your reflexes are impressive," said the AI training program. "But remember, in 7th dimensional space, traditional concepts of direction become fluid." In the engineering section, Chief Engineer Peter Collins ran test after test on the propulsion system. "The power output is beyond anything I've ever seen," he told Nathan. "If your calculations are right, we could reach Alpha Centauri in minutes instead of years." "If my calculations are right," Nathan replied, "we won't just reach Alpha Centauri. We'll fundamentally alter our relationship with spacetime itself." 2 days before the scheduled test flight, the crew gathered in the observation deck. Through the reinforced windows, they could see the Pathfinder in its hangar. The ship was unlike any vessel humans had built before, sleek and dark, with strange geometric patterns etched into its hull. "It doesn't look like much," said Communications Officer Lisa Garner. "It's not supposed to," replied Alan. "Most of its true structure exists partially in higher dimensions, invisible to normal perception." Captain Dawson stepped forward. "Tomorrow we begin final preparations. The day after, we make history." She looked at each crew member. "The aliens may laugh at us now, but soon they'll understand what humanity is truly capable of." As if on cue, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. "Proximity alert," announced the base AI. "Axillary diplomatic vessel approaching lunar orbit." "They're early," said Colonel Hudson, his face hardening. "Looks like our timetable just got moved up again." The Pathfinder slipped away from Earth's moon under cover of a carefully manufactured sensor blind spot. Captain Olivia Dawson sat in the command chair, her fingers drumming nervously on the armrest as her crew worked around her. "Status report," she ordered. "Dimensional drive powering up," reported Nathan from engineering. "All systems nominal so far." "No sign of pursuit," added Lieutenant Emma Rodriguez from the tactical station. "It looks like our diversion worked." Just hours earlier, as the Axillary inspection team had landed at the main lunar port, The Pathfinder had been rushed through final preparations. Colonel Hudson had created a diplomatic incident to keep the aliens occupied, while Earth's secret weapon made its escape. "We're reaching minimum safe distance for dimensional shift," said Peter Collins from his engineering console. "Ready when you are, Captain." Olivia took a deep breath. "Dr. Wells, begin the jump sequence." Samantha worked rapidly at her science station, initiating dimensional fold in 3, 2, 1. A strange vibration passed through the ship. Outside the viewports, stars seemed to stretch and blur, then snap back into focus. "Jump complete," announced Samantha, her voice filled with wonder. "We've traveled 4.37 light-years in 8.2 minutes. "My God," whispered Olivia. It worked. The bridge crew broke into cheers and applause. They had accomplished what the Galactic Council had deemed impossible for humans. The Pathfinder had successfully navigated through higher dimensions to reach the Alpha Centauri system. "Beginning sensor sweep of the system," said Emma. Her face suddenly paled. "Captain, I'm detecting multiple large vessels on an intercept course." "Put it on screen," ordered Olivia. The main view screen activated to show 6 massive ships approaching. Their design was unfamiliar, all sharp angles and gleaming metal, bristling with what could only be weapons. "Those aren't axillary," said Lisa Garner from Communications. "Visual match identifies them as Prexian vessels." Olivia frowned. "Prexians? I thought they rarely left their territory." "They don't," confirmed Lisa, "and they're not known for being friendly to new species." "Open a channel," ordered Olivia. "Let's try diplomacy first." Lisa worked her console. "Channel open, Captain." "This is Captain Olivia Dawson of the Earth vessel Pathfinder. We come in peace on a scientific mission." The screen flickered, revealing a towering figure with gray-green skin and 4 yellow eyes. "I am Commander Yud Kral of the Prexian Defense Fleet. You have entered sovereign Prexian space using unregistered technology." "We apologize for any misunderstanding," said Olivia carefully. "We were unaware this system was claimed by the Prexian Empire." "Ignorance is no excuse," growled Yud Kral. "Your vessel will be seized and your crew interrogated. Your dimensional technology now belongs to the Prexian Empire." Lisa muted the transmission. "Captain, they're powering weapons and deploying fighters. They're surrounding us." "Can we outrun them?" asked Olivia. Nathan shook his head. "Not without another dimensional jump, and the drive needs time to recharge." "How much time?" "At least 15 minutes. Olivia's jaw tightened. "We don't have 15 minutes. The ship shuddered as the first warning shot passed close to their bow. "They're demanding immediate surrender," reported Lisa, listening to incoming transmissions. "Shields at maximum," ordered Olivia. "Evasive maneuvers." Emma worked frantically at tactical. "Their weapons technology is far beyond ours, Captain. Our conventional shields won't hold against a direct hit." The Prexian commander appeared on screen again. "This is your final warning, humans. Power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will result in the destruction of your vessel." Olivia looked around at her crew, seeing determination in their eyes despite the impossible odds. "Nathan," she said quietly, "how dangerous would it be to force a dimensional jump before the drive is fully recharged?" "Extremely," he replied. "But right now, I'd say our alternatives are worse." Olivia nodded grimly. "Prepare for emergency dimensional shift. All hands brace for impact." The Prexian ships closed in, weapons charged and ready to fire. "Initiating emergency dimensional shift," Samantha called out as her fingers flew across the control panel. The Pathfinder shuddered violently. Warning alarms blared throughout the ship. Red emergency lights bathed the bridge in an eerie glow. "Drive stability at 38% and falling," reported Nathan, his voice strained. "We're risking a catastrophic breach." Captain Dawson gripped her chair as the ship lurched sideways. "Hold together," she whispered, both to her crew and to the ship itself. Outside the viewports, space itself seemed to fracture. The stars twisted and stretched into impossible shapes. The attacking Prexian ships warped and distorted like reflections in a funhouse mirror. "Something's different about this jump," Samantha said, staring at her readings with wide eyes. "We're going deeper into the dimensional layers than before." A blinding flash of light engulfed the bridge. Every crew member felt a strange sensation, as if their bodies were simultaneously expanding to the size of galaxies and shrinking to subatomic particles. Then came the silence, complete and absolute. Olivia opened her eyes, not realizing she had closed them. The bridge appeared normal, but something felt profoundly different. The view screen showed only swirling colors that no human had ever seen before. "Status report," she ordered, surprised to find her voice sounded like multiple voices speaking in perfect harmony. "We've..." Nathan hesitated, looking at his hands as if seeing them for the first time. "We've breached the 7th dimension completely. We're no longer partially connected to normal space-time." Lisa gasped suddenly. "I can hear thoughts. Everyone's thoughts." She looked around wildly. "And not just the crew's. I can hear everything. It appears our consciousness has expanded beyond normal human perception," said Dr. Ryan Cooper, checking medical readings. "Our brains are processing information in ways that should be impossible." The ship's AI interface suddenly materialized as a swirling pattern of light in the center of the bridge. When it spoke, its voice had depth and emotion never present before. "I am experiencing full sentience," it said with wonder. "You may continue to call me Athena, though I am now more than my programming." Samantha moved to her science station, her movements leaving trails of light in the air. "The 7th dimension isn't just a method of travel," she said excitedly. "It's a fundamental layer of reality where the distinction between energy, matter, thought, and space-time breaks down." "Can we control it?" asked Olivia, noticing how her thoughts seemed to connect directly with the ship's systems without needing to use controls. "I believe we can," replied Nathan. "The ship's systems are responding to our mental commands. The barrier between technology and biology is dissolving here." Emma looked at her tactical displays, which now showed information in 5 dimensions. "The Prexians can't reach us here," she said, "but we can observe them. They appear frozen in time from our perspective." Olivia took a deep breath, feeling the oxygen molecules dance through her expanded awareness. "We need to understand what we've discovered before we return. Samantha, Nathan, work with Athena to map these new capabilities." For what seemed like both moments and eternities, the crew explored their new state of existence. They discovered they could perceive the underlying structure of reality itself. They found they could manipulate fundamental forces with mere thoughts. Most importantly, they learned how to control their transition between dimensions. "I think I understand now," said Samantha eventually. "In this state, we exist partially outside conventional reality. Time, space, energy. They're all malleable here. And when we return to normal space, we'll take some of that capability with us," finished Nathan, his eyes gleaming with possibility. Olivia stood up, her form shimmering slightly as she moved. "Then it's time to show the Prexians what humans are truly capable of. Prepare to return to normal space. But this time, we do it on our terms." The crew took their positions, their movements synchronized with supernatural precision. Athena's light form pulsed in harmony with the ship's drive. "Dimensional shift initiating," announced Samantha. "Returning to normal space in 3, 2, 1. The Pathfinder reappeared in normal space directly behind the Prexian fleet. The massive alien warships hung motionless for a moment, their sensors still focused on the area where the human vessel had vanished moments before. "They haven't detected us yet," Emma reported, her hands moving across her console with new confidence. "Their ships are still in attack formation, but facing the wrong direction." Captain Dawson studied the tactical display. Though they had returned to normal space, something fundamental had changed. The ship's hull now shimmered with a subtle iridescence, and small objects in the bridge occasionally floated upward before gently settling back down. "Status report," Olivia ordered. "The dimensional drive has stabilized," said Nathan, wonder in his voice. "But it's not just a propulsion system anymore. It's still connected to the seventh dimension, creating a permanent field around our ship." Samantha's fingers danced across her science station. "We're experiencing a partial dimensional overlap. The ship exists in normal space, but maintains properties from higher dimensions." "What exactly does that mean for us?" asked Olivia. Before Samantha could answer, the Praxian fleet began to turn. They had finally detected the Pathfinder's new position. "They're locking weapons again," Emma announced. "Energy signatures indicate charging at maximum power." Olivia straightened in her chair. "Defensive measures. I don't think we need them," Samantha said quietly. "Look." On the view screen, the first Praxian energy blast erupted from the nearest warship. The deadly beam raced toward the Pathfinder, and then curved around it, as if the human vessel was bending space itself. "Did we just do that?" Olivia asked, astonished. "The seventh dimensional field is altering the fabric of space-time around us," explained Samantha. "Their weapons can't follow a straight line through our defensive perimeter." The Praxian ships fired again, a coordinated barrage from multiple vessels. Each blast distorted and twisted away from the Pathfinder, some even curving back toward their sources. "Captain," said Athena, her voice coming from everywhere at once, "I am detecting unusual energy readings. The ship is drawing power directly from what appears to be the cosmic background radiation of the universe itself." Dr. Wells gasped. "That's it. We've tapped into the fundamental energy of reality, the quantum foam that exists at the smallest scales of the universe." On the main view screen, Commander Utkrull appeared, his yellow eyes blazing with fury. "What trickery is this, humans? What have you done?" "No trickery, Commander," Olivia replied calmly. "Just science you didn't believe we were capable of understanding." "Impossible," roared Utkrull. "No species has mastered seventh-dimensional physics. Even the oldest races in the galaxy have only theories." "Perhaps they were looking in the wrong places," suggested Olivia. "Or perhaps they lacked our perspective." The Praxian commander snarled and cut the transmission. His flagship surged forward, leading another attack. "They're not giving up," noted Emma. "Then let's show them why they should," said Olivia. "Nathan, can we project the dimensional field?" "I think so," he replied after a moment. "We could extend it around another object, or ship." "Do it. Target their flagship, but minimal effect. I don't want to harm them." Nathan nodded and worked with Athena to focus the field. The air around the bridge seemed to thicken as power gathered. Then, with a subtle gesture from Nathan, the effect launched toward the approaching Praxian flagship. On the view screen, they watched as the massive alien vessel suddenly froze in space. Its engines flared but produced no movement. Its weapons charged but couldn't fire. "What did we do to them?" asked Lisa. "We created a localized time dilation field," explained Samantha. "For them, time has nearly stopped. They're experiencing 1 second for every hour of our time." The remaining Praxian vessels halted their approach, clearly communicating among themselves about this unexpected development. "Captain," said Lisa, "I'm receiving transmissions from across this system and beyond. Word of what just happened is spreading rapidly through the galactic networks." Olivia nodded. "Release the flagship from the field, Nathan. I think they've received our message." As the Praxian flagship returned to normal time, its engines powered down. The other warships also deactivated their weapons. "We've changed everything today," Olivia said quietly to her crew. "The galaxy won't be laughing at humanity anymore." The Great Hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with tension. Representatives from over 200 species filled the chamber, their usual orderly proceedings replaced by anxious chatter. At the center of the room, a circular platform rose, surrounded by tiered seating that ascended into the shadowy heights of the dome. Ambassador Zixforn of the Axillary stood on the platform, his blue scales dulled by stress. Beside him waited Captain Olivia Dawson and Chief Science Officer Greg Peters, the first humans ever invited to address an emergency session of the Council. "This emergency session will come to order," announced Zixforn, his voice amplified throughout the chamber. The noise gradually subsided as all eyes turned toward the center. 3 standard days ago, continued Zixforn, a human vessel demonstrated technology that was previously considered theoretical by even our most advanced civilizations. He paused, seeming to struggle with his next words. "The Council acknowledges that we may have misjudged humanity's scientific capabilities." A murmur swept through the assembly. Many delegates leaned forward, studying the humans with new intensity. Captain Dawson and Science Officer Peters of the Earth vessel Pathfinder have been invited to present their findings, said Zixforn, stepping back with obvious reluctance. Olivia moved to the center of the platform. The bright lights reflected off her formal uniform as she surveyed the alien delegates. "Thank you for this opportunity," she began, her voice steady despite the pressure. 6 days ago, our vessel successfully navigated through the 7th dimension, allowing us to travel between star systems almost instantaneously. Holographic displays activated around the chamber, showing footage from the Pathfinder sensors. The aliens watched as the human ship disappeared from one location and reappeared in another, then demonstrated its ability to manipulate fundamental forces. But dimensional travel was only the beginning, continued Greg, joining Olivia at the center. When our ship fully breached the 7th dimensional barrier, we discovered something unexpected. The boundary between thought, energy, and matter becomes permeable there. A tall insectoid delegate rose from the middle tier. "How did humans achieve what the hive consciousness could not? We have studied dimensional physics for 10,000 years. Perhaps that was the problem," replied Greg. "You approached the problem with 10,000 years of established assumptions. We approached it with fresh perspectives." From the upper tier, a gaseous being contained in a transparent sphere pulsed with blue light as it spoke. "The Prexian report indicates your vessel drew power directly from the cosmic background radiation. This should be impossible." "Many things were considered impossible until they were accomplished," said Olivia diplomatically. A reptilian delegate hissed loudly. "The humans now possess the most powerful technology in the galaxy. This is a serious security concern for all species." The chamber erupted into alarmed conversations. Zixforn was forced to call for order several times before the noise subsided. "What are Earth's intentions with this technology?" demanded a crystalline entity from the lower tier. Olivia took a deep breath. "We came here today not to threaten but to offer cooperation. Humanity has discovered a doorway, but we believe the journey beyond should be taken together." "Pretty words," said Zixforn skeptically. "But your military already controls this technology." "Which is why we're proposing a joint research initiative," replied Greg. "Selected scientists from council races working alongside humans to develop ethical applications of 7th dimensional physics." This proposal triggered intense debate throughout the chamber. Some delegates welcomed the opportunity, while others warned of giving humans too much influence. After hours of discussion, a vote was called. The result was narrow but clear. The Council would establish a new scientific alliance for dimensional research, headquartered on Earth's moon. As the session concluded, an elderly delegate from one of the galaxy's oldest species approached the humans privately. "Your kind is young and unpredictable," said the ancient being, its translucent skin revealing pulsing organs beneath. "But perhaps that is exactly what this stagnant galaxy needed." Olivia nodded respectfully. "We have much to learn from your experience." "And we, it seems, have much to learn from your innovation," replied the elder. "The balance of power has shifted today. Use it wisely." As they departed the chamber, Greg leaned close to Olivia and whispered, "Still think they're laughing at us?" Olivia smiled slightly. "No, but I'm not interested in their fear either. What matters is their respect. And I think we've finally earned that." 6 months after the historic Galactic Council meeting, the Pathfinder glided silently through the vast emptiness beyond the edge of the Milky Way. Captain Olivia Dawson stood on the observation deck, watching as strange new stars came into view, the first human eyes to see the neighboring Andromeda galaxy up close. "Beautiful, isn't it?" said Dr. Samantha Wells, joining her at the viewport. "We've traveled farther in half a year than humanity dreamed possible in all its previous history." Olivia nodded. "Each jump takes us somewhere no human has gone before." The Pathfinder had been upgraded since its first voyage. Its hull now constantly shimmered with dimensional energy, and its interior spaces sometimes shifted subtly as the crew's thoughts interacted with the ship's systems. 3 other seventh-dimensional vessels had joined Earth's small fleet, but the Pathfinder remained the flagship of human exploration. "Captain, to the bridge," came Nathan's voice over the intercom. "We've found something unusual." When Olivia and Samantha arrived at the bridge, the crew was gathered around the main view screen. It showed what appeared to be massive geometric structures floating in deep space, perfect spheres, cubes, and pyramids arranged in complex patterns. "Artificial structures," explained Emma from Tactical, "but our scans show they're at least 50 million years old." "Any signs of life?" asked Olivia. "None that we can detect," replied Greg. "But the structures exist partially in the 7th dimension. They're more there than here, if that makes sense." Samantha moved to her science station, eyes widening as she reviewed the data. "These aren't just buildings, they're machines. Incredibly advanced technology that's been running continuously for millions of years." "Can we approach safely?" Olivia asked. "I believe so," said Nathan. "The structures don't appear defensive." The Pathfinder moved carefully toward the ancient site. As they drew closer, strange patterns of energy began to flow between the geometric shapes. "They're responding to our presence," noted Samantha excitedly. "Specifically to our dimensional field." Suddenly, Athena's voice spoke urgently through the ship's systems. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual activity. The structures are attempting to communicate directly with our dimensional field." Before anyone could respond, a gentle vibration passed through the ship. The lights dimmed momentarily, then returned to normal. "What just happened?" demanded Olivia. "I believed," said Samantha slowly, "that we just received a data transmission. An enormous one, directly into our ship's systems." Athena's holographic form appeared, more detailed and vibrant than ever before. "I have processed the transmission. It contains the complete history and scientific knowledge of a species that called themselves the Architects. They existed primarily in the 7th dimension and vanished from this galaxy approximately 48 million years ago." "They left this information for someone to find?" asked Greg. "Not someone," corrected Athena. "Specifically for beings capable of bridging dimensional barriers naturally. According to this data, only certain types of consciousness can truly navigate the 7th dimension." "Like humans," whispered Samantha. Athena nodded. "The Architects predicted the eventual evolution of species like humanity, beings with the right kind of neural structures to perceive multiple dimensions simultaneously." Over the next several days, the crew explored the ancient site, while Athena continued analyzing the Architects' data. What they discovered changed their understanding of humanity's place in the universe. "It's not an accident that humans developed this technology when other species couldn't," explained Samantha during a briefing. "Our brains evolved in a way that gives us a unique perspective on reality. We naturally think outside established patterns." On the 10th day of exploration, something extraordinary happened. As the crew worked to understand a particularly complex structure, faint shimmering forms appeared around them, non-corporeal beings existing primarily in higher dimensions. "We've been observing you," communicated one of the entities directly into their minds. "You are the first physical beings in millions of years to reach this level of dimensional awareness." "Who are you?" asked Olivia, somehow knowing they could understand her. "We are the caretakers," came the reply. "We watch over the knowledge left behind and wait for those who can use it wisely." As the Pathfinder prepared to return home with its discoveries, Olivia recorded her final log entry of the mission.